G'day everybody, it's Dave here, still in Iceland. I'm with my friend Michael, who's been commenting on my videos, and he just wrote to me last night and said, oh, you're in, what was the area called?
Vesterbayr.
And I said, oh, yes I am. So I've come up here to this lovely little coffee shop. We've just had the most fantastic conversation. He's a super interesting guy. He's actually a real Viking. I'm only a pretend one, but he's been in a Viking film. He's been a Viking in lots of ads. So I'm just going to get him to tell us about what he's done and some other interesting stuff. So I'll take that.
Okay.
Yep. Have a look around. Nice Icelandic surroundings. So yeah, just tell us who you are, mate.
So my name is Mikael Hannes Zontag. I was born here in Iceland, and I'm just a little bit younger than David.
Heaps younger.
Yeah, a decade or so.
Yeah.
And but then when I was 3 years old, we moved to the United States. My father was American, and I grew up in Texas, which was a lovely place to grow up in the late 70s, and went to the university there, and I lived in America till I was 42, and which was about a decade ago, and I moved back to Iceland. Kind of felt the calling to come back here. I have a large family here, and it's just an amazing place to be, and it's very chilled, very slow pace. Sometimes too slow for some people, but we have a lot of nature and swimming pools and hiking areas and sheep and everything. My family has a farm in the north, and so every year we go up there to plant trees. We also go up there to pull all the sheep off our land. So that's something that you find in Iceland. There's not only is nature kind of really all around us, but we're always spending a lot of time in nature. So,
yeah. So could you tell us about your Viking film and the other work
I
you've
mean,
done?
that was really just a opportunity or experience I had as working as an extra. There's lots of roles like that happen here in Iceland. So this was just last week. It was for a series that's coming out called King and Conqueror. And I just thought that it was kind of fun to play a Viking warrior.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. I can tell you.
Yeah.
King and Conqueror.
Yeah, and there's so living in Reykjavík and putting yourself out there within the community and being willing to offer your time. You can find some extra roles and done some commercials and such, but it's nothing.
You really looked the part.
Nothing really to brag about. But if they needed a bearded explorer-looking Viking, then there's always maybe a role to play. So
yeah, you look like you stood at the mast with the wind blowing in your face a few times, blowing your beard around.
Yeah.
Actually, tell us about that classic cover photo you took where the wind played a part.
Yeah, that book. There was a sweater book that came out a couple of years ago. A friend of mine from the United States, Philadelphia, was helping a friend of his with publishing a book about knitting Lopapesa sweaters like David is wearing.
That's this
right now.
Lopapesa.
So the Lopapesa is really only about maybe 100 years old. I mean, of course, we've been knitting sweaters for as long as we've been here, but this classic pattern is maybe a couple hundred years old. So there was this book that was well received by Neil Gaiman, and it's just called Lopapesa, Icelandic Sweaters. And yeah, like I said, within Reykjavík, there's a lot of artistic activity, a lot of musicians, a lot of people who are doing also writing books is a very you have many authors here in Iceland, so there's always some kind of project that you can lend some help on if you want.
And they're really brilliant bookbinders. That's all my older Icelandic books are just the most beautiful things. Leather-bound books, all handmade, beautifully stitched, excellent paper. And they still seem to be continuing that, which is super cool.
Yeah.
Could you tell me how you found Viking Superpowers, the channel?
I probably was doing a search for Viking Superpowers.
Well, yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, there is a strong sense of, I don't know, almost like a fate or destiny for the country of Iceland, at least within the circles that I run in, and there's this sense that we're at a juncture in the world, kind of a turning point, and I think a lot of people are reaching out and looking for extended communities and looking for a way to kind of reconcile the mysteriousness and the awesomeness of who we are as humans, and what some of our innate, or what's that word, that's there's something within us that we want to wake up again. I was also speaking with you about the book called Iceland's Great Inheritance,
Yep.
which has to do with a theory that Iceland is descended from the tribe of Benjamin, which has a very special 11 of 12 of the apostles were from the tribe of Benjamin. So there's a
What was the author of that?
Adam Rutherford.
Adam Rutherford, and it's
Yeah.
from the 30s.
Yeah, I think he wrote it in
So-
the 30s. He's a pyramidologist.
It might be out there as a PDF. Like,
Oh, for sure it is.
one of those,
Yeah, anybody can find that.
yeah.
Quite easily. And so, but that's a good question. How I really came across your page, but I think I don't know. I think YouTube seemingly has been a little bit more open again with finding things. I know, like 10 years ago, it was very organic searches would come up, and you get a lot of random stuff. And then for a long time, it kind of seemed to be a bit more censored or something. But I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of videos lately where there's only been 100 views or something. So I don't know what's going on with that, but maybe there's some synchronicities going on there. There's some elves in the machine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why not? Right?
Well, Michael's just given me this book, and every single day I've been here in Iceland and in Scandinavia, I've had some wow, like, what's the chances of that thing? And just on my social media, I posted a picture when I was talking to a lady in down there where Gunnar's Holmi is supposed to be, the island where he looked back and saw the slopes of Flitherenda and said, oh, it's so beautiful, I can't leave. And she knew all about that stuff, but she actually showed me this book in Icelandic, and at the time she opened it up and it had a circle on paper, which was exactly the same as these other circular cross designs I've been finding all over Iceland and Scandinavia, which seem to have profound meaning. So Michael just pulled this out of his bag, and I went, oh my God, it's in English. So I started to photograph the relevant pages from Iceland, and he said, oh no, I'm giving this to you. So I'm pretty stoked about that.
Yeah, I was, when I got your message that you were willing to meet up, within about 15 minutes, it just popped in my mind that, you know what, I should give David this book. It's been sitting on my bookshelf for a while. I've read through it, but with you doing your research,
Yeah. I'm really excited, mate. I reckon this is definitely meant to be.
Yeah.
And this guy, Pétur Halldórsson, he's the guy who founded the Ásatru. I guess you knew that, but
I knew that and I forgot that, and now I know it again. Yeah.
yeah. So that's the people who believe in the Ás, the Aesir,
Yeah.
and they don't seem to necessarily worship them as actual gods riding chariots pulled by goats and stuff like that. It seems to be more like what you're talking about. More what I'm on about is like a human spirituality.
That's right. It's seeking to be one with nature, one with creation, and well, maybe having a conflict maybe with some Christian ideals. I think I really enjoyed our talk because there's there's a connection between spirituality, Christianity, nature, Ásatru, which is about like we talked about, like honor and justice,
Yes.
and doing the right thing, and I think everyone is within our community is more concerned about individual interaction and how we treat each other,
Yeah.
and being open to pursuing different perspectives of spirituality. Because even within let's say my Christian spiritual groups, we see things different ways, but when it comes to like the base concept of creator, creating through love, creating through forgiveness and through grace, and I think those are similar concepts, and they kind of spiral out from love, and we all have our own unique kind of journey, and we really just want to kind of try to figure things out and our own puzzles. Not everybody's like this, but us, those of us who are seeking to solve these puzzles and then trying to leave the world in a better place.
Yeah. Fantastic. It's been a real pleasure to meet you. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think we'll be friends for years
we will,
to come.
for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm just literally living down around the corner here. And
Yeah.
I sorry about the hand there. And I was telling Michael that I've been all over the southern part of Iceland, what it's called Suðurland, isn't it? Yeah, is that
Sure.
Yeah. Rangavalle Sislu, with my friend Gudrun, who's just a couple of years younger than me, but she's this absolute dynamo, and I'm a pretty fit guy, and I was struggling to keep up with her. And I discovered that my old military experience as a teenager, I was a drill sergeant, an officer in the Royal Australian Air Force Air Training Corps, which was cadets, but I used to march people everywhere with left, right, and I don't know, but I've been told, that sort of thing. So I was a bit late to come here, so I was doing the left, right thing, and then I started singing the I don't know, but I've been told, to what we call the double time. And it's helped me in Iceland. When I was getting exhausted, I started singing the old cadence to myself, walking up these volcanoes and stuff. And suddenly I was just moving faster, but I was more relaxed. And I realized there's an ancient wisdom in all that marching that the military does. It's sort of moving people before trucks and things like that, move a body of men quickly to a battle. These guys would literally march, then run, then march, then run, then march, then run until they got to the place. And they were super fit young fellas. So, I'll finish up there. Would you like to, is there any message you could give to the folks at Viking Superpowers channel?
Well, I think we all have some kind of superpower within us, and it manifests in many different ways. Some of it more spiritual, more supernatural, sometimes it's just the way that we show empathy and sympathy in our day-to-day lives. Even just making it through the day sometimes seems like a bit of a battle.
Yeah.
And so we're all in this kind of three-dimensional game in a higher dimensional reality, and seek out your own salvation with fear and trembling, and I think that's about it.
I think that was really good. That was profound for something on the spot.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot, mate.
You're welcome.
It's a real pleasure.
And it's hello to your growing audience. Your videos have been really something special. Yeah, and I've been really excited to watch them evolve and grow and expand. And you've got some great material.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I'll see you later, folks, and I'll probably be back in Australia next time I see you, but you never know, I might. Something far out happens to me every day, at least once, so something might happen when I'm in Denmark for a couple of days, we'll see. Anyway, See you later. There he is again.